Are you the father of Marc Anthony Contreras?
No, ma'am.
You're not, and you never had sexual relations with Miss Contreras?
No, ma'am.
So
Not that I'm aware.
you understand you're under oath, sir.
Correct. No, I mean, not
State
that I'm
asks you
aware
whether
of.
you ever had sexual relations with this woman. Now, there are 2 children. Okay, so raise your right hand, please. Do you solemnly swear testimony you're about to give shall be truth, the whole truth?
Yes, sir.
Okay, state's gonna ask you all some questions. Go ahead, state.
Yes, Judge. The state will call, Mr. Sanchez.
Go ahead.
Okay, Mr. Sanchez, there are 2 children in this case. They are Marc Anthony Contreras and Tanya Unity Contreras. Are you the father of Marc Anthony Contreras?
No, ma'am.
You're not, and you never had sexual relations with Miss Contreras?
No, ma'am.
So
Not that I'm aware.
you understand you're under oath, sir.
Correct. No, I mean, not
State
that I'm
asks you
aware
whether
of.
you ever had sexual relations with this woman. Now, there are 2 children. Obviously, the answer is yes. All right? You understood the question?
Correct. I understood the
Oh.
question, but to the best of my recollection, I do not remember said period of time in my life. It was
Well,
very
she's gonna
traumatic.
testify to it, and then we're gonna see. Okay, but you had sexual relations with this woman, did you not?
Again, Your Honor, I can't correctly
You
recollect.
Have you had sexual relations with this woman at any time?
I mean, at any time, yes,
Yes.
back in 2017, we did have sexual
There you
relations.
go. Then you cannot say no. Okay, so you're under oath, sir, and I expect you to testify truthfully. Go ahead, state.
Correct.
Okay, and this case was filed and brought in August of, let me see, February of 2022, and since then, we've been to court several times, and you were given the opportunity to get a DNA test, correct?
To the best of my knowledge, correct.
And you never did.
To the best of my knowledge, correct.
Okay, and this case, actually, I can count the number of times it was reset because you were supposed to go get DNA testing. Let's see, it was 1. Looks like 2, 3, at least 4 times, and you did not. You still have not gotten testing, correct?
To the best of my knowledge, correct.
Okay, and at the time that this petition was filed, were you living in another state?
No, ma'am. I
Have you
was living
ever-
in the.
Have you ever lived in out of state?
I attend college out of state. Yes.
Okay, but you do live in Texas, and
My
you have lived in Texas.
correct. My primary residence is in the state of Texas. However, during the school year, I do travel to and from to attend university.
Okay. And what you're testifying today is that you've had sexual relations with Ms. Contreras. You just don't remember the time frame.
I could tell you it was November 5th of 2017.
Did you ever have a relationship with Ms. Contreras? Like boyfriend, girlfriend, dating, partner?
No, ma'am. We were just solely that one sexual instance, to the best of my knowledge.
Okay. Did Ms. Contreras ever tell you that she was pregnant with your children?
No, ma'am. To the best of my knowledge, no.
When's the first time you found that out? That you had these children?
I'd say when I received notification from the courts letting me know that I had court coming up was the first time that I was fully aware that these were, in fact, that Miss Contreras was petitioning these children were, in fact, my children.
And after giving many opportunities to get a DNA test, why haven't you done so?
I declined to answer.
You will answer, sir. You're ordered to answer. Go ahead.
To the best of my knowledge, I'm furthering my education. So
you didn't take the test because you're furthering your education.
Correct.
Okay. Go ahead, Steve.
Okay, I will pass this witness regarding this issue and call Miss Contreras.
All right, go ahead.
Miss Contreras, can you hear me?
Yes,
Okay, Miss Contreras, there are two children in this case. We'll start with Marc Anthony Contreras, and he was born June 26, 2019. Is that correct?
correct.
And at the time that this child, Marc Anthony Contreras, was conceived, did you have sexual relations with Marc Anthony Sanchez Jr.?
Yes, we're living together. Here's a picture of us that we took when during my pregnancy. Here's another photo from like the baby shower. Here's when the baby was born and he's holding Mark. We're at the hospital.
And those are what you're showing the court. Those are all photos of Marc Anthony Sanchez, correct?
Yes,
With the baby at your baby shower. And how long did you live with Mr. Sanchez?
we lived together. We moved in together November 2017, and then he moved out, I think February 2018, because of an investigation that was going on, and CPS said he had to move out. But we continued, he couldn't be near my other children, but we continued to see each other because I was pregnant with Mark. And then when Mark was born, he had a heart problem, so Mark was also there. And then I got pregnant really fast with Tanya. Like right now, they're both gonna be 3 this month. It was like right after.
So when Marc was conceived, you were living together, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And how long before that were you living together?
Before that,
Had you been living together for months?
since November 2017.
Okay.
He was on several leases because we moved twice.
And were you having sex? You heard him say that he had only sex with you once in November 2017. Did you have sexual relations after this time?
Yes,
Okay. And were you having sexual relations with any other person other than Mr. Marc
no, ma'am.
Anthony Sanchez?
Even after we were not living together, I only was with Mark. I only had sexual relationship with Mark. And then after I gave birth, I wasn't even supposed to be having sex with, and he still wanted to have sex
And is that when you became pregnant with
Tanya. He would
Tanya?
like force himself on me.
Okay, and after, was he at the he was at the hospital when Mark was born?
Correct. And then they had to fly him to Corpus because of his heart condition. And though I really needed help because I didn't take anything. It was like an emergency and they just flew me and Mark, the baby. So then Mark drove my car to Corpus to help me. And the whole time that we were there in the hospital, in the hotel, he would be having sex with me forcefully.
Okay, and were you having when Tanya, you said Tanya was born shortly thereafter, conceived shortly thereafter after Marc Anthony Contreras was born.
He left the state, I believe, in September 2019. And I didn't know I was pregnant until after he left. And when he called me sometime in, I think it was December, or it might have been late November, I told him that I was pregnant with Tanya and that I had filed for child support.
And were you having sexual relations with anyone else when Tanya was conceived?
No.
Is there a possibility that anyone other than Marc Anthony Sanchez Jr., who's present today, anyone else could be the father of either child?
There's no possibility. There's no doubt in my mind. He even told me that he got me pregnant on purpose so that I wouldn't be with anybody while he was out of state working.
Okay,
And when I tried to make a police report for rape, they told me I had to do it in Corpus. And I couldn't go to Corpus. And right after that, COVID happened. And I've made several police reports with the sheriff's department for harassment. I asked the DA if I could get a restraining order because I had changed my number several times, and he'll get it from my sibling, from my younger brother. He'll bribe him to get my information. And the DA said because I didn't have an address, they couldn't issue a restraining order. And then it stopped. He moved on with his life. I think he told me he has 2 other kids somewhere in Wisconsin. And it would just be like sporadically that he'll send me money for the kids, or I'll ask him for help. And I just rather it be that he be on child support, because I did file for child support in 2019.
okay. Now going back to the child, Tanya, you said that when did he leave? After Tanya was conceived or after she was born?
After she was conceived. He was never around me during the pregnancy. He has never came back near me. It's just been verbal through, like if anything, like over the phone or FaceTiming. He'll FaceTime with Mark. But with Tanya, he was never there. He wasn't there when she was born. He's never met her.
Okay, so, as far as, okay, we'll let the judge decide on I'll pass the witness, Your Honor, regarding the paternity of the children at this time.
Okay, what else?
And nothing further on that, and if the court, we'd ask that the court establish the parent-child relationship
Okay, well,
between
first of all,
Mark.
if you go ahead and get more specific on the 4 times that you mentioned that he was supposed to show up for testing, and he didn't get specific on the dates. And
Okay,
find
let
out
me-
what happened, why he didn't show up on each.
Let me see,
date.
Judge, let me see if
Yes.
exactly,
Get more specific on that. Because according to him, the reason he didn't, because he had his studies. But it wasn't specific as to what, if that applied to all 4 times, so just be more specific on that.
okay, well, I'm gonna go through the dates then.
Go ahead.
Okay, let me find them first. Okay, so the first hearing where both parties appeared, Your Honor, was September 16, 2022. Let me see when the court ordered the testing. I'm gonna put up the order for paternity testing. So the court ordered the testing on, looks like the hearing. This doesn't have a date. Let me see the next one.
I decided, I have it on file here, I signed on December 13th.
It's in December. I think it was the 13th.
December 13th it is, I got the order in front of me, go ahead.
Okay, and then after that, I'll have to look at the system, Judge, to see
Okay, well,
exactly
go ahead,
how
go
many
start
times
with
they
that one.
contacted him. Hold on.
In this case, on September 13, that Mr. Sanchez appeared, they asked him if he wanted testing. He denied testing. He was requesting a reset to hire an attorney. We reset it for October 19. On
Okay,
October
okay,
19,
hold
he
on,
got-
hold on, let's see here. Okay, let's see. Oh, here it is, on 10/19/22, we responded, appeared Zoom,
and he,
so Mr.
he-
Sanchez appeared on Zoom and he requested a reset time to hire an attorney, is that correct?
no, Judge, on September 13, he requested time to hire an attorney. We reset it to October 19. On October 19, Mr. Sanchez connected, he appeared, and he said he was feeling ill. Miss Contreras had not signed in yet, so we went ahead and reset it to December. December 13, when both parties appeared again, Mr. Sanchez at that time requested testing.
The testing was ordered, that's the order I signed December 13th, okay.
So on December 30th of 2022, he was, they scheduled him for testing.
Well, go ahead and ask your questions about
And
that.
sir, why did you not appear for testing on that date? You're on mute, or maybe you're
Yeah,
on.
I should be unmuted. At that time, I was furthering my education, as you know, I was made over in the year 2022 that I would be, having. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. So in the year 2022, I was made aware by the court that there was a petition by the plaintiff, Miss
Your Honor,
Contreras.
if I could interject.
Yes, sir, just listen to her question and you answer her question.
I don't know if Mr. Sanchez is driving or someone else is driving, but
Somebody's driving, obviously somebody else is driving.
Correct. I'm on my way home.
Are
you
you driving?
sir?
No, ma'am, I'm not driving.
See,
Okay, someone else is driving. Okay, so on December 30th, 2022, why did you not get tested?
Again, ma'am, I was furthering my education at that point in time. So, doing schoolwork.
So December, is this college?
Yes, university.
And
I took
on
fall-
December, hold on December
I took
30th,
fall-
there are no classes.
I take fall intermittent courses, meaning that during the fall and spring break, they offer 1-credit courses that could be completed in 2 weeks. And I sign up for those because I do want to pursue and finish my degree. So that way I could be a better capable father,
So let's say in the fall, when did you go to school in 2022? What dates? From when to when?
I went to school from exact dates on the semester. Off the top of my head, I would need to get the calendar. However, during the fall and winter courses, they have what's called a fall intermedium, where you can take a course over the fall or winter break. And I elected to pursue said course in order to finish my degree.
So what are
even
the
though, okay,
dates?
so fine. And even though a court ordered you to be tested and the Attorney General set you up for testing, you decided not to go. Is that right?
I needed to pursue my classes.
All right, so that's what I'm saying. To pursue your college education, whatever, you decided not to obey the court order for your testing. Is that correct?
To the best of my knowledge, correct.
Well, yes, to the best of your knowledge, it's the only answer that is correct. So you knew. And how many times were you given an opportunity to take a test, sir?
To the best of my knowledge, I was given maybe 1 or 2 times.
Not 4?
No, Judge, the case had been reset, but I'm gonna go through the next time that you were giving an opportunity. So you don't know the dates you went to school, that you were enrolled in school, attending classes in the fall.
State, first of all, it don't matter, because that's not a valid excuse for not complying with the court order and get tested.
Well, after that.
So it doesn't matter, State, what times. What matters is that he knew he was supposed to be tested. You set it up for him and he decided not to show up because.
Yes, Judge, and I just for the clerk to know, we then set him up January 17th, 2023.
Okay, what happened on January 17th? Sir, did you show up on January 17th, 2023 for testing?
To the best of my knowledge, no, sir. However,
Why
at
not?
this
Why
point,
not, sir? Why did you not show up?
again, I was pursuing my
There
education.
you go. All right, sir. So every time you didn't show up, it was because you were pursuing your education, right?
Correct.
Even though we got these children here that you're alleged to be the father and you're given an opportunity to be tested, yet notwithstanding the testing was set up, you decided not to go on your own free will. Is that correct, sir?
Correct. To the best of my knowledge, yes.
Well, to the best of your knowledge, or well, even if it's not to the best of your knowledge, that's the only answer you can give, sir. Yes, you decided not to. Okay, and you saw the picture. Did you see the picture, sir, about where you were with the oldest child, sir, at the hospital?
Correct. I mean, at that point in time, I know Miss Contreras wasn't very forthcoming, but she did have sexual relations with another partner, so I was not fairly certain if I was the father or not.
But you still went to the hospital anyway, correct?
I mean, out of obligation and, sure generosity, despite not knowing certain, whether I.
Okay. All right, well, okay, well, sir, I'm gonna find that based on the all the evidence presented so far, sir, that you were given opportunity, you intentionally disregarded the opportunity to be tested, therefore you have waived any right to testing, sir, and I'm gonna find that you are the father of this children. Paternity is established. Paternity is established. Now, Mrs. Contreras.
Yes,
Okay, now, is Mr. Sanchez listed as the father on the birth certificate of, let me look at the pleadings real quick. Is he listed on the birth certificate as a father for the oldest child?
no, Judge. He's not.
You're not, okay, birth certificate will be amended to reflect him as a father. Now, the child has your last name, or you asking that the last name stay the same, or you want him to have Mr. Sanchez's last name?
His last name.
You wanted the children, that child to have his daddy's last name?
Yes,
Yes, ma'am, okay. And how old is the child now?
he's 3.
3, or is he going to pre-kinder yet, or is it too young?
He's in early Head Start.
Early Head Start, okay. And as to the other child, Tanya, is Mr. Sanchez listed on the birth certificate as a father?
No, Judge.
And are you also asking if that child have his last name?
Yes,
And how old is Tanya?
she's 2. She's about to be 3.
Also, all right. Then both children would have the last name of Sanchez. All right. And because of your studies, so you don't want to visit your children, or what?
I would very much love to visit my children. My studies are a priority for me. I am working towards obtaining my Master's of Business Administration to obviously provide a better quality of life for my children.
Yes, sir, but you can't do it at their expense, sir. You can keep on getting your degrees and get masters or doctor, whatever you want, but you're gonna have to support your children in the meantime. You have that duty also.
I'm fully aware.
Oh, good. All right. And as far as obviously, sir, do the children know you, sir?
To the best of my knowledge, as Miss Contreras stated prior, I have had interactions with the children.
When's the last time you had physical interactions with the children, sir?
I have never seen the children physically.
There you go. So you see,
Yeah.
That's why you understand that as far as besides, before we get there, sir, has there been any violence between yourself and Miss Contreras, or any family violence between you two?
So there was a open case back in 2018. However, the district attorney and the prosecutor dismissed the case. So no, there is no.
Okay, well, but there was some allegations of family violence, yes?
Yeah, they were allegations. However, when it came time to prove whether those allegations were true or not, they were proven as false. And the
and who were the allegations made against, you or her?
They were made against me.
Oh, made against you. Okay.
But they were proven to be false.
Well, I know proven to be false. Was the case when you found not guilty, or what?
Correct. The prosecutor in the district attorney's office of Cameron County filed a motion to dismiss the case.
Okay, that don't mean you were proven to be not guilty, sir.
Well,
They just mean they dismissed the case for whatever reason they decided not to prosecute, right?
I was never convicted of said crime. So
I didn't ask whether you were convicted. The fact is that there was allegation of domestic abuse against you. It was dismissed. Oh, see, so now you tell me what happened. What happened that they had to dismiss these charges against you? What happened, sir?
To the best of my knowledge, Miss Contreras made false allegations that I assaulted her, and once the judicial system took hold of the case, they found that those claims were baseless. Therefore, they dismissed the case. That's to the best of my knowledge, and that's what I was made by counsel.
All right, so but you see, but the best of your knowledge is not very good, because you were not found to be not guilty. The case was dismissed because the prosecution. But see, now we're going to hear from her as to what happened. Ma'am, were there some charges brought against him, as far as you know, for assaulting you?
Before I was pregnant, I had tried breaking up with Mark, and then he asked that we meet up to talk, and I was at a Head Start Policy Council meeting. So I was in Rio Hondo, and he picked me up to take me home because I had carpooled there. And I was the one making the car payments on his car. So we had just separated. So I thought it was okay that he picked me up. But on the drive home, he started to drive on the wrong side of the road and threatened to crash into incoming traffic, started hitting me and trying to push me out of the vehicle. Someone else called the police that he was going to crash into, and they pulled us over, and he was arrested. And he came out on bond, and he didn't show up to the court. And so we never went to court. And in 2020, he asked me to sign an affidavit with Kenny Bettis, his law office. And he asked that I sign that so they could remove that from his record, and I did.
And you did that. Why did you do that?
He said that if he had those charges, he couldn't help me with my light bill.
Okay, so now you want to tell me what happened, sir, now that we know from her what she says happened?
I mean, to the best of my knowledge, those are just baseless allegations.
No, sir, they're not. They are not baseless allegations, sir. That's what she says happened, and you're not contradicting that in any way because you're making conclusionary statements.
Again, Your Honor, I with all due respect, I'm going to contradict Mrs. Contreras' rendition, seeing as, you know,
All
it
right,
is.
well, then you tell me what happened. Then you tell me what happened. If you're gonna contradict, then you tell me what happened, sir. Why did you get arrested?
As far as I'm aware, the law enforcement officer found reason to believe that an alleged assault did occur, and again, that's beyond me.
Okay, so you tell me what happened, sir. Once the police went, obviously somebody called the police and you got arrested. Tell me what happened in the car. She already told me what happened according to her. Now I want to hear how you're contradicting that, because you haven't told me how you're contradicting that.
So how I'm contradicting that statement is, so I went to pick up Miss Contreras on good faith that, you know, I would.
Could you stand still, sir, please? You're moving all over the place.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just kind of getting nervous. Go ahead and take a seat for Your Honor.
Sit down or something, sir, because you're moving all over the place.
Yeah, sorry, it's just.
Go ahead.
So on the date of May 18th, 2018, which is when the incident occurred, or it may have been May 16th, but within a 3-day time period of that, Mrs. Contreras asked me to give her a ride from the Rio Hondo Head Start location located out there in Rio Hondo to her mom's residence in Port Isabel, Texas. Now, when I was giving Miss Contreras a ride, during which she witnessed me texting a girl on Facebook Messenger by the name of Daisy Marquez, sorry. And me and Daisy Marquez were going to enter into a relationship, sexual relationship, whatever it was. Miss Contreras saw that and immediately, you know, took my phone and began to get belligerent and grabbed my steering wheel and says, "If I can't have you, nobody can have you." And I asked her, "Hey, this is my property." At the time, I was living out of my vehicle. So I said, "You know, this is my domicile. I'm asking you to go ahead and get out of my domicile." I pulled over to the side of the road and she said, "Unfortunately, you can't leave me on the side of the road." I said, "Whether that is morally correct or incorrect, I, by law, have every right to kick you out of my domicile at any given point in time," which I enacted to do. She unfortunately was not very receptive of my rights or my pleadings. So law enforcement was called, and, you know, given the rendition of the story that Miss Contreras portrayed to law enforcement, I was subsequently placed under arrest and, you know, had those charges pressed against me by Mrs. Contreras. And as the judicial system took course, I was found to be,
okay, well, obviously, sir, the judicial system didn't take course because it never went to court. It got dismissed, right? It got dismissed, all right? And secondly, this happened May 2018, sir. So she didn't have the child till June of 2019. So y'all obviously continue to have a good relationship, right? Y'all continue to have a relationship after that, correct, sir?
Sorry, Your Honor, could you go ahead and
Yes, sir.
recollect my
Yeah, this incident
Bluetooth
happened
turned
May of
on.
this incident happened May of 2018. And whatever happened, the thing is that the first child wasn't born till June of 2019, more than a year later. Correct?
Correct, Your Honor.
So even though y'all had a problem, y'all had this incident, y'all continued to maintain a relationship, did you not?
Correct. We continue
So
to,
y'all made up,
converse.
y'all made up and all that, y'all made up and whatever, and y'all continue to see each other as boyfriend and girlfriend, right?
Not boyfriend and
He got disconnected, Your Honor.
Well, let's get, he's back. You muted, sir. Please unmute yourself, sir. Ms. Sanchez, unmute yourself, sir.
yeah. Apologies, Your Honor.
That's all right. You got cut off, sir. You got cut off. Yes, you did. All right. And so as I was saying before, sir, so y'all had the problem in 2018, and yet the child was born in 2019. You see, so y'all continue to see each other, right?
Correct.
There you go. And then she wound up pregnant and all that, and you went to the hospital, correct?
Correct.
There we go. All right. And are you still in school, sir?
Correct.
And what state or what city is the school in?
I attend Marquette University. Right now, I'm getting prepared to go home for the summer break and then return as a student.
Summer break. All right. And what are your intentions concerning visitation of these children? So do you plan on visiting them or not?
I would very much like to visit them. Yes.
And do you think that you and Miss Contreras can get along as parents so that y'all don't have any issues concerning disagreements and arguments or any type of violence, sir?
Given the time that these allegations took place from then until now, I've pursued my education. I've become a more well-rounded person. Part of the condition for the dismissal of the prior case was I attend 6 months of therapy sessions, which I've attended actually 2 years of therapy sessions to work through, my traumatic experiences as a child and better myself. So I wholeheartedly would agree that yes, my intentions are to pursue a fruitful and long-lasting relationship with my children, free of the burdens, that I was plagued with as a child. That's, my intention, and really why I decided to continue to pursue my education was to really make myself a more well-rounded person and be able to.
And what was the issue that happened that you weren't a well-rounded person?
So I was abused very heavily as a child, and being the psychological, cycle of abuse at one point in time, I wholeheartedly believe that, there is no better way to do things than to, solve your issues with that. I now know, obviously, stopping, taking a breath, having grown-up dialogue with one person when there is some sort of issue is one of the, actually the best way to go ahead and resolve issues. Things don't need to get solved. I mean, you're aware of the, South Texas, Rio Grande Valley machismo, and if somebody tells you something, you have to get into a fight. I've come to understand that that is the furthest thing that you should be looking to do if you want to have a sort of satisfactory life without the ramifications that come with said action. So being that I understand that now, I wholeheartedly want to teach my children, those same principles and foundations that I've acquired through educating myself.
Mm-hmm. And you mentioned about taking some courses for a couple of months or whatever. What courses were those?
So those were therapy sessions, and I've actually taken them for over 2 years, from April of 2021, and I mean, I'm still going through therapy sessions present day. So there was obviously a lot of unresolved issues and anger that I had to work with. And I mean, if I'm going to be quite frank with you, at the age of 16, my father was, I had my father and mother were going through a custody battle for me, and I can't remember the exact district court, but I remember the judge, and she ordered that child support not be paid to me, even though I was at the age of 16, because I was a man, and at that age, blah blah blah. Even though the age says you have to pay until you're 18, right? So yeah, there was a lot of unresolved anger and resentment towards Mrs. Contreras for a while, seeing as I felt that the system in one way or another had let me down, and now it's coming around full circle to quote unquote bite me in the butt. However, I understand living like that, all it produces and really all it perpetuates is the cycle of abuse and cycle of impoverishment. And that's not what I want for my children. At the end of the day, I want them to get an education, go to college, and strive to pursue a graduate degree or PhD in whatever respective field that they like. So I decided to say, you know what, Miss Contreras, I do want to have a relationship with you. I would like to, settle out of court, so that way we could have maybe, better terms in
There's
terms
nothing
of,
to, so there's nothing to settle out of court.
Yeah.
That's why you're in court, because there's nothing to settle. This court has to make rulings. I've already made the rulings, each other father. Now it's just a question of making rulings, how you're gonna visit the children. All right, and obviously, since they don't know you, it's gonna take a while. Or how about you, Ms. Contreras? What about you? How do you feel about visitation? What do you think about that?
Sir, after that incident, we did get back together and we together, but then in February 2018, there was an anonymous report made against Mark that he was abusing my older son. And because of that investigation, he was moved out of the house and he never cleared with CPS. And I took my children to CART. I took them to Monica's house. I took them everywhere where I was supposed to go. But when I asked the DA about it, they told me that there wasn't enough evidence to issue a warrant. And
Okay, well,
So-
were you talking, abusing an older son? So obviously you have other children besides these two.
yes, correct.
How many more do you have?
I have 3 other children,
3 other. How old are they?
10, 9, and 6.
10, 9, and 6. And your oldest son is a 10-year-old?
Yes,
What's his name?
Timothy.
Timothy.
Uh,
And you say, when do you say that this alleged abuse happened?
February 2018.
February 2018. So February 2018. And what happened?
It was an anonymous report that he was sexually abusing my son, or both of my sons, Javier and Timothy.
But this is February 2018, ma'am.
Yes, I was pregnant with Mark. So then
You were pregnant with who?
with Mark,
You were pregnant with Mark. Let me get back in here. When was Mark born?
Mark, June 26, 2019.
In 2019. So how can you have, if you're talking the problem with Timothy happened in February 2018? You weren't even pregnant then.
I'm probably getting the dates confused. I'm sorry. But I was pregnant when that happened.
So it's
So
not February 2018. Can't be February 2000.
it was probably 2019. I'm sorry. And then, so he disappeared. I didn't know where he was living, but whenever I had Mark, that's when he reappeared. And then,
you have another child with him.
mhm.
What about the concern about your oldest child, Timothy?
He was not in the home, and I did not want to have sex with Mark. And I know his rights for when I met him, he had custody of his daughter Serenity, and he lost his rights, and he would have visitation with his other son, and they were supervised visitations at McDonald's. So based on that, his visitations, even before any of this, were supervised, and then he lost custody of his daughter because of this, I believe. and he
Right.
never cleared with CPS. I don't think I wouldn't want him near my kids, and I don't feel safe around him.
All right, and Mr. Sanchez, how many children you have? She has 3 others out of not in your relationship, but how many children do you have? That's
I
not
have
in your
two.
relationship. How many do you
I
have?
have 2 more children outside of our relationship.
2. Okay, how old are they?
They are 6 and 5.
6 and 5.
Correct.
And do you have or do they live with you?
I have a child support order for one of those kids. I can give you the
Okay, which
cause
one? The
number.
5? No, it's okay. The 5-year-old is which one do you have child support?
The 6-year-old, and I do not live with the 5-year-old, but I do support the 5-year-old as she is watched by my mother.
She's what?
She's being watched by my mother, so I do
Why is she
support the
being
5-year-old.
watched by your mother?
Why she's being watched is that's what the courts determined at that point in time in 2018 was in the best interest of the child.
All
So
right.
that's just what's
So
been.
does she have custody of your daughter there, the 5-year-old?
She has joint custody with the maternal great grandma. So they both share custody.
And why was custody given to them and not to you, sir, or visitation to you?
So visitation was given to me. It was supervised visitations at the Child Protective Services office and on McIntosh Boulevard in Brownsville, Texas. So I did have visitation, and as to why the child has not come back with me. So I've had an attorney review the case, as Miss Contreras stated, wasn't able to properly recollect. The allegations were proven false. So at any given point in time, I can go ahead and file a suit and essentially get my custody back for my daughter.
Okay,
However,
so in other words, so what's happening here is because since you were abused, then you had problems dealing with children. Is that it?
no, sir. The reason why my daughter was taken away was I was addicted to substances. So if you read the transcripts for the case, Child Protective Services stepped in because I was found. I took a court order drug test on June 2nd of 2018, and I was found positive for benzo, Xanax, cocaine, and marijuana. That's why she was taken.
What year was that, sir? What year was that?
June 2nd, 2018, down to the exact date.
And what about that 6-year-old, the other 6-year-old you have? Do you visit that child?
Me and mom have not had contact with one another for almost 4 years now. She remarried and had 2 kids with said gentleman. So I've tried to contact mom, but it never goes anywhere. She does not allow me to partake in visitation. So it's one of those situations where I could only do so much subsequent of needing to refile a hearing in court. But I do document each and every time that I do reach out to her, and she does not allow me to pursue visitation. So if and when I do decide to file a motion, for contempt in court, I do have all that information ready to go.
All right. Okay, State, is there anything else?
Judge, not as far as those issues. We'll ask Miss Contreras some follow-up. Miss Contreras, are you asking to be the sole managing conservator of the children?
Yes,
And you're asking for, you said you didn't want him to have any visitation, is that correct?
correct. I don't feel safe. It was just last night how all the times he called me. It's
How many
just,
times does that matter? How many times did he call you? Showing your cell phone there. How many times did he call you?
Those say no caller ID.
uh, 50 times.
50 times. And is that his phone number there?
Some of them are, and
Some
then
of them are, okay, I don't know, the rest of them, okay, so the ones that are not, or is that no caller ID or what?
No caller ID.
Okay, and how about how many were his that were his out of those 50?
5.
So only 5, okay.
I had to change my number again, but I do not feel safe and around him or him knowing my address or my information or, and
Okay.
CPS has told me that he has not cleared with them and he can't be around my children.
Is this that case still pending?
No,
Yes.
it closed before my son was born, but every time that I talk to CPS about it, they say that he has not cleared yet.
Okay.
I believe Mark has paperwork that states that can't be near, that he can't be near them.
Okay, and so you're asking for no visitation. However, if the court does order, you would want them supervised
Yes,
in a public place?
yes,
What type of health insurance do the children have?
Medicaid.
Has he given you, since you separated? Has he given you any money for child support?
He has like he'll order things on Walmart and then I'll go pick it up. He's done that several times, and then he's paid my light bill directly to the light bill, I think twice. And he'll send money through Cash App like sporadically.
How much?
I'm not sure. I would have to, like the Cash App.
Right.
Let me see if I could see it.
Attorney General, I can give you the exact amount for Cash App.
She'll ask you in a moment, sir. She'll ask you in a moment. She'll ask you in a moment. She'll ask you in a moment. Go ahead. Okay.
You have a list, ma'am?
I believe this month it was $100. I'm looking through it.
Well, let me ask him how much he says he's given you, and we'll see if you agree to that. If that's how much you're saying he's given you. Sir, how much are you saying you've given her?
Permission to ask the
No.
plaintiff.
So how much, you have an app there, so how much you owe on the app that she gave you?
I've given her over 64 total transactions. I've given her $1,909, which Miss Contreras, your Cash App handle is Urgel13, correct?
Yes.
Correct. Okay. So
$1,909 you've given her.
yeah, however, Your Honor, I have sent her money through the Walmart to Walmart transfer, which would equate to another $3,000 during
Hold on, so Walmart to Walmart, that's besides the $1,909, it'll be $3,000 more?
yes.
You
Which I
have
can
that with
produce.
you? Do you have that Walmart to Walmart with you?
So right now, what I am doing, Your Honor, is I reached out to the what's called the IRA Customer Service Support Center.
So the answer is no, you don't have it.
I do have it. I could obtain that
No, you told me
information
you're
for you.
reaching out, so you don't have it.
I could obtain it for you, Your Honor.
You don't have it right now.
I can get you an emailed receipt.
You're having, you may receipt that this case was filed back in 22? You've had time to get all kinds of receipts, haven't you?
So this right now I have not had adequate time to get the receipts as due to my studies, but I would ask the
No,
court.
forget about your studies. You have had enough time.
I would ask the court.
Also, that's it. That's it. $1,909, okay? Go ahead, State.
I will pass the witness, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
Ms. Contreras, do you heard the $1,909? Is that how much he's given you?
I would have to like review it, but I'll just take his word for it because I don't really understand the app. But for Cash App, like this month, he did send me something, but before that, I think the last time was like last August.
But at least $1,909 he's given you, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
What about Walmart to Walmart, ma'am? Did he send you anything to Walmart?
It was not the $3,000.
What was it?
Maybe $100,
That's it from Walmart, $100.
I
That's
believe.
it.
Again, I mean,
No,
this,
sir, that's all right. Go ahead, state. As far as income state, child support.
Yes, and Mr. Sanchez, where are you currently employed, if you are?
I'm currently unemployed.
Okay,
I
When's
do
the
have
last
2
one?
other children to support.
when's the last time you were employed?
It's been a few years since I've been pursuing my education.
Okay, and what is it you're getting your degree in?
JD.
What?
JD.
What is that?
Juris Doctorate.
That's law school. So are you in law school?
I'm a few semesters away from getting into law school, but yes, I've
Oh,
been
so you're not
admitted
in
as a-
law school. All right. So you're not getting a JD until you get into law school. So do you have a bachelor's yet?
I'm a semester away from obtaining my bachelor's, and then I will
So
be.
you gotta get your bachelor's before you can even, then you gotta take your LSAT. Then you gotta apply to law school. So you're talking quite a while from now, sir. So you got a bachelor's degree.
I'm working on obtaining my
You
bachelor's degree.
Yeah, you got one more semester for a bachelor's degree. And where have you looked for a job, sir?
Currently, I am not looking for a job because I am applying for the pre-law scholar program, which
Well, so you
essentially.
got 2 children to support, sir. These 2 children, you also got the other, but this one's the one I'm concerned right now. You got these 2 to support too. You can't afford to go to school without supporting them. You see? You're gonna have to get a part-time job, you agree?
I could possibly manage.
You need to, sir. You need to because you're a parent also. So your children need your support. And when you become a lawyer, that's better support for them too in the future. But that's in the future. We got to get there first. All right, Steve. Go ahead, Steve.
No further questions, Your Honor.
All right. All right, so what else? What do you want to tell me? So before I make a final ruling in this case, what do you want to tell me?
I would ask that the court consider, the amount that I've sent from Walmart to Walmart as per Miss Contreras' own admittance. I have submitted an amount, so there's no question that there is an amount. However, between what I am saying and what she's saying, somewhere lies the truth. And I would just like it, that both parties are benefited from, in fact, the exact truth and nothing but the truth. So if given time.
And since you're gonna be a lawyer, so since you're thinking of being a lawyer, and who decides who's telling the truth and who's not telling the truth?
It's you, Your Honor. I
There you
understand.
go. There you go. That's up to me to decide who I want to believe, what I want to believe. I can believe everything you said or nothing that you said or part of what you said. Same thing for her.
I would just like, Your Honor, for you to have the exact and correct information in front of you before deciding a decision, because there is some form of truth in there as per Ms. Quintanas' admittance. I have given her money through Walmart to Walmart. $100 is not the correct amount, and I may.
What is the correct amount, sir, according to you?
So right now I want to get the exact number. I can.
What is the
call
correct amount according to you at this time, sir?
The correct amount would be, and I don't know if it's down to the last dollar, but I'd say a fair amount of what I've given her is close to $3,000, somewhere between $2,500 and $3,000, which I could produce the receipts for if given time by the end of the day to submit that to your office.
Okay. Wait, is that it? That's it.
I'd like to the court to consider, Miss Contreras' claims are baseless at best. I'd like the court to consider my position as furthering my education and taking therapy sessions to better myself as a father and allow me to have visitation with my children. Seeing as a father and mother, being involved in the children's life is in the best interest of the children. No children deserves to not have visitation with their father outside of the confines of a McDonald's, for the duration of their childhood. I believe my children do deserve better. I'd like to provide them better. I'd like to show them better. And if need be, I'm willing to work through all the conditions, with the court to get to that point, seeing as I understand I have not had a relationship with them in the past few years, that I will, man up and say is true. However, I would like to eventually be able to maybe take my children to Disney World or take my children to see different, attractions throughout the United States and really be able to enjoy their childhood rather than experience the traumatic experiences and fighting amongst mom and dad that they've had to experience thus far. I think my children do deserve better. And given the opportunity within the next few years, I'd like to go ahead and provide them better, if that would be appropriate with the courts.
Okay, yes, okay, ma'am, what about you, ma'am? What else you want to say before we make my final decision? Ms.
I
Contreras.
just want to make it clear that I don't feel safe around him, and I don't feel my children are safe with him. When I was pregnant with Tanya, he would tell me to move up north with him, to leave my other children and have the baby over there. And I was extremely scared of him knowing where I was. I did try to get a protective order. I made police reports because I lived out of city limits with the sheriff's department. I still don't feel safe. And I just wouldn't want my kids to be in danger.
Okay, all right, thank you. All right, again, paternity having been established, the mother be the managing conservator. Mother is a managing conservator. I'm gonna find that based on the evidence, it's not in the best interest of the children that I allow him any type of possessory interest of the children. Therefore, I'm not gonna deal with any type of visitation at this time. Of course, he's certainly welcome in the future to come back into court and prove to the court that it is in the best interest of the children that they be allowed to visit their daddy. But at this time, I don't find it to be. Gentleman's got a lot of issues that happened before he met this young lady and even after. And see, every issue is also CPS being involved, but they never contacted him for whatever reason. So I don't find that it's a better choice that I appoint him as possessive conservator, and no such appointment is made. Child support in this case is ordered. State, we have 2 children. Minimum wage is how much, state?
$225.
$225. However, I'm going to deviate from that because this gentleman is an educated individual. He needs 1 semester to graduate, so he has.
Your Honor, I don't.
Hold on, sir. He has a certainly greater potential than a minimum wage earner. He's not a minimum wage earner. So I'm going to set child support. I'm going to deviate from the guideline and set it at $375 per month.
Your Honor,
That's it, sir. That's all. I told you before. If there's anything you wanted to say, I'll let you say it. That's it. I'm making my ruling now. $375 per month, beginning on the first day of July. The mother will apply the chips and he will pay $63 per month medical support, beginning also July 1st. As far as back child support, state, how much are you asking for back child support?
So we calculated it at $10,294, and if we give him credit for the $1,909, that comes out to $8,385.
I'll give him credit for the $1,990 and half of the $3,000 for that's $1,500. That's 94. That's 14 $3,490.
That comes out to $6,885.
85. That's the judgment I'll get for back child support, $6,885, and that will be paid at the rate of $75 a month, beginning also on July 1st. Court costs, he will pay $200 by August 15th, balance as billed. Non-disclosure will be granted since he has no right to visit. Then he don't need to know where these children live because this young lady's afraid of him also.
Your Honor, we would also ask for a permanent injunction as to him going to residents threatening, harassing.
There's also a permanent injunction. This gentleman has no reason to be contacting this lady in person, by phone, by cell, or any social service. He has no business to contact this lady whatsoever. In the future, when he straightens himself out, and he can prove to this court his insurance business that he'll be allowed some type of visitation, that he's welcome to file whatever he needs to file. But at this time, he has no visitation. That cover everything, state?
It does, Your Honor.
That is a court order. I will see order in writing within 30 days. I'll also let you know, sir, this. I've been hearing these cases for the district judges for the last 33 years. All right? Since I hear cases for them, you have a right to request a trial de novo so long as you file it within writing within 3 days that I sign the order in this case. That doesn't mean that if you request a trial de novo, that the case stops. No, the obligation, everything I've ordered here is in full force and effect, and you have a legal obligation to comply with these court's orders. If you file a trial de novo, if it takes 2 years, doesn't mean anything's going to be different than what I've done here, because I've heard the evidence and I found this to be in the children's best interest, whether you disagree or agree.
No,
Right? So
Your
that's
Honor,
the court. I don't have to hear anymore, so I've heard everything and I've made my decision. Thank you very much for having me.
I do have a question for Your Honor, if you don't mind.
No, so you
Now-
have a question, you go talk to a lawyer. I'm not here to give you answer any questions.
No,
I already made
given-
my decision.
given that I am supporting another child on child support, would that amount be lowered as well?
No, sir. No, sir. You have, based on your potential higher than a minimum wage earner.
It's
Alright.
not.
Sir, again, see, that's why I'm telling you, I've made my ruling already. Thank you very much. Y'all receive an order within 30 days, everything I've said here today. Thank you. Okay, next case thing.